Hello, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening wherever you are. So, in today's tutorial, we will be making this beautiful dress you see here. Unfortunately, the dress is too small, so I couldn't put it on my mannequin. But hey, you guys know, you know me already, how dresses fit my clients so well. So, I'm going to be showing you exactly the steps you need to achieve this dress. Okay, so I'm going to be using 2 yards of fabric for this. Okay, because like I said, she's very small, so 2 yards will be enough for her. So begin with your start line as usual. You need your start line always when you are making a drafting. Okay, so I'm going to be starting from this folded in here. Okay, so from that folded in, I'm going to be marking towards me. Okay, so on that start line, first I'm going to mark my shoulder measurement. Okay, so her shoulder measurement plus my 8 inches standard. Okay, so the 8 inches standard guides me to slope my armhole. So I'm marking 1 inch below that 8 inches. Okay, and I'm going to be doing 2.5 inches for the neck width, and also 2.5 inches for the neck depth, because this is a high neck. Okay, and I'm going to be connecting this for the back, for the front, sorry, and for the back I'm going to be doing just 1 inch. Okay, because it's a high neck dress. All right, so the next thing is to go ahead and then mark my vertical measurement. I'm going to be marking shoulder to the bust and shoulder to the waist. Okay, so I'm going to be kind of drafting the top and the down together, but for now I'm going to tackle the top. Okay, so next thing is to mark my armhole depth. Okay, so I'm doing 6.5 inches for her armhole depth, and I'm going to be extending this out like so. And then on that line I am going to be marking the shoulder measurement. Okay, plus half inches allowance, because I'll be joining my sleeve to that. Okay, then I am going to be creating my shoulder slope. Okay, I'm going to be creating my shoulder slope. I'm going to be connecting this 1 inches that I came down by to the nape of my neck, just like I've done. And the next I'm going to be creating my armhole. Okay, for the front I've come in by half an inch. Okay, because the front is always deeper than the back. Okay, so I've just connected this to my shoulder, and then also for the back I'm just going to connect from the middle point down to the armhole line, like that. Okay, so the next thing is to mark quarter of the bust measurement. All right, and then also quarter of my waist, because my fabric is folded into four. So I'm marking quarter of the waist plus that. Yes, and then sewing allowance. Okay, so I've added half an inch to the waistline. I'm going to be explaining why I did that. So next, connect this waist point to your bust point like so. Remember, like I said, I added half an inch to the waistline. Remember that I'm going to be explaining why I did that. So marking my dart for the front, I came in by 4 inches, and I am going to be extending my back. So right on that same line, okay, I am going to be continuing with my skirt, but not forgetting my sewing allowance. Okay, so I'm going to be placing it in such a way that I can be able to join it to the top, because the top also has a waist allowance. Okay, for the joining. Okay, so I'm placing this there, and I'm marking a shoulder to her low waist, and shoulder to the hip. The low waist helps me shape the dress better. Okay, and then for this dress length, Okay, I'm marking that as well. So next is to extend my points. Not forgetting my low waistline. Just extend your points like that. And then since we have already marked our waist line, I'm going to ignore that and then mark my low waist, okay, plus sewing allowance. Okay, then to I'm going to blend this, okay. So remember, like I said, I added a half an inch to the waist. That half an inch only affects the back and not the front. Hence the two like lines you see at the side there. Okay, so on my hip line, I'm going to mark quarter of the hip measurement there as well. And then plus sewing allowance of 2 inches. Then I am going to be blending this. And then 2 inches below my hip, I am going to be transferring same hip measurement there as well. Okay, so on this line, I'm just going to measure what I have and subtract 1 inch from that, and then connect this to my hip like that. Okay, so once this is done, all right, I'm just going to go in with my zipper allowance. Okay, so I have half inch already there. I'm going to go ahead and mark just half inch. So half inch 1 inch, sorry, on all the part except my waist line. Okay, so what I half inch on my waistline because our backs are not straight, and also we need to take care of the zipper bulge. That is why I reduced in my waist by half and I added it to the side. Okay, but that only affects the back. Okay, so connect your zip line like I am doing, and the next I'm going to be adding some allowance to my shoulder line. Okay, but before that I'm going to be making my connection like prominent so that I don't cut it off. Okay, so I'm going to be adding half an inch to my shoulder as well for joining. Okay, then the next thing is to cut out. All right, so I'm cutting out. So for the back I'm removing the half an inch for the front part. Okay, like I said, it only affects the back. Okay, because of the zipper allowance. So for the top two, I am cutting off the back first, and then I'm going to separate the front from the back and then bring out my front side. Like I'm taking out the half inch that I don't need for the front. I only need it for the back because of the zip. And I'm going to be bringing out my neck, my front neck, and also my front armhole. Okay, these are very important. Okay, so when you're drafting, you take note of that. Okay, now I have my patterns ready. I'm going to go ahead and cut my lining. Okay, for that, and then next we move to our sleeve drafting. Okay, so I am reducing my skirt because I realize it's too long. Okay, so I'm reducing it a bit. Now back to our sleeves. I'm going to be drafting the sleeve for this dress. I'm going to be drafting that together. So like fold in your fabric enough, okay, to accommodate the armhole and the allowance. Okay, so once that is done, just create your start line like as usual. You need that. Then calculate for your armhole depth. So the armhole depth is your bust divided by 12 plus half an inch. Okay, so once I did that, I'm going to be marking whatever result I get there. Okay, so bars divided by 12 plus 0.5. Okay, then you mark. All right, so once that is done, just go ahead and rule a straight line and then impute your armhole measurement there. You can add an ease of half an inch. Okay, so once that is done, just go ahead and connect it to the starting point. That is the corner of your starting point. And then once that is done, just find the midpoint in between that line and then extend half an inch upwards, and that gives us the back armhole. Okay, so even a sleeve drafting has a front side and the back side. So this is the back side, and then for the front side I'm dividing the line again into two, and then this side also into two, and then from that one point I'm going to go up by, from the top point I'm going up by a quarter, and from the down points I'm going down by a quarter as well, and I'm going to be connecting the points together. Sorry, I need my curved ruler to do that, to connect it to that quarter into to the middle, and then flip your rule like so, your French curve like so, and then continue with that. Okay, so once that is done, I am marking my round sleeve, that is for the bicep. Okay, the bicep measurement. Okay, so I'm marking that bicep measurement there because I'm going to be using that whole length for my sleeve. Okay, so I'm adding my sewing allowance of 2 inches to that, and then connect it to meet each other like so. Okay, just to create your sleeve. So that is all for the sleeve. I'm measuring that to cut my white. Okay, so I need the white also. So I have this, and I'm going to be cutting that into two so that I can use it for the hem part of my sleeve. Okay, so now cut out your sleeve. Once that is done, open it up and then cut the front as well. So I have this because my sleeve is two. Okay, so now back to my ruffles. For the down part I'm going to be doing 10 inches. Okay, and then after that I'm cutting this out. So I have a four of that. Okay, and I'm going to be splitting it into a piece each. Okay, so I'm splitting this into two, and then I'm going to split the folded ends two into two. All right, so I have four pieces now. I'm going to be joining this to create a very long piece. Okay, so that I can gather this to meet the hem of my dress. So I've cut my lining for each, and I'm going to be taking down my darts. Okay, like that. I'm going to do it for the other side. Also my skirt. Okay, I'm going to be taking my dart, but make sure the skirt dart matches with the top one. Okay, take note of that. So once I'm done with my dart, this is how it looks. I shortened my waist side for the skirt by half an inch and blended it to the side. So now I'm going to be joining this. Okay, I'm going to be joining the front part to the down part of the front skirt, and then for the back too I'm going to be doing the same thing after joining my dart. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing for the other side of the back as well. All right, and now I have my ruffles joined together. Okay, my piece joined together. I'm going to be creating I'm going to be folding the hem. Okay, and then once I'm done I'm going to create a gathered stitch and then gather this. Okay, so I'm going to gather this to meet the hem of my dress. Okay, so in case my hem is 40, I'm going to gather this to 40. Yes, so my sleeve is also done. I've stitched the white strip onto it, and I folded it onto the right side. I'm going to top stitch on that as well. Okay, so once that is done, I here we are. I'm done with that. I have joined my back as well. Okay, I'm going to be joining my shoulder. I'm going to join the shoulder, and then for the back, I've already ironed in my zip after closing some parts of the back. Okay, and I've ironed in my zip as well. I'm just going to take my measurements again and close the sides, and then once that is done, I'll measure whatever I have here. Okay, and I have my ruffles also ready, so I'm just going to go ahead, measure, and then fix it to the down part. Okay, yes, so just like that. All right, yeah, so the next thing is I am going to be tackling my sleeves. Okay, I've already sewn my sleeves. I've taken the measurements down. Okay, and this is what it looks like. Okay, yeah, so I will set this aside and I'll continue with my dress. I've fixed my zip already, and I'm going to be attaching my sleeve to the dress. Right, so I'm going to be tucking this in. So take note of the front part because you need to attach the front armhole to the front sleeve. Okay, so you see what I'm doing. I've just taken note of that, and so I know that sleeve matches with that front armhole. Okay, so I'm pinning my sleeve. So pin the sleeve very well, and then I'm going to be stitching. I'm going to be doing the same thing to this side, and then for the ruffles too, I left some opening. Okay, I'm going to be attaching this to it. All right, so I just match this right sides facing each other. I'm going to be pinning this all around before I stitch. Okay, so let's go and do that and come back. Guys, I'm done. This is how it looks now. Okay, sleeves attached, ruffles attached. Okay, sleeves attached and ruffles attached. It's left with me closing the hem. Okay, the back part of the dress. I'm going to close this by 1 inch. Okay, and then I'm going to measure my neck and then use it to cut my collar. Okay, so after measuring my neck, we are going to be cutting the collar. So I have these two fabrics. Okay, these two fabrics, all right, folded like that. All right, I'm going to be using this to draft my neck collar. First of all, mark a straight line like you see me, okay, doing, right, and then measure your your back to your shoulder like that. Okay, and record whatever you have there. Right, and also from the shoulder measure to the center point of your neck and record whatever you have there as well. Okay, we are going to be needing these two measurements to draft our our neck. So this is my shoulder. Okay, this is my shoulder, and this is my back. Also, this is my front. All right. Okay, so I'm going to be marking whatever I had on my back plus a little bit of ease around there, and also my front. I'm going to measure whatever I had there plus a little bit of ease around there as well. Okay, so the next thing is I'm coming up from the front by 1 inch. Okay, I'm coming up by 1 inch, and I'm going to be using my French curve to connect these points together. Okay, from my shoulder to my front, I'm going to connect this point like that. Okay, and then from there I'm going to be marking the collar width that I want. Okay, so I'm marking the collar width that I want. I'm marking 2.5, or mark 3 inches for that. Okay, and also 3 inches for the back as well. Please take note on how I'm cutting this. So for the center, I'm just extending that line, and I'm going to be marking 3 inches also from that point, so that I can be able to easily join the points together very well. Okay, so I'm taking my rule and I'm going to go ahead and connect from the shoulder to the back as well, and then I'm transferring the same measurement I had for my back on the top line as well. Okay, so this is what I had for my back. I'm just going to give it that pointy edge. Okay, so measuring the same thing on my front, I'm just transferring this. Yeah, so I'm connecting this to create that parallel line and make it really even. Okay, so I'm going to be adding 1/2 inch, okay, on my sides. Okay, that's for the front and also for the back for the sewing allowance. Okay, sewing allowance added, 1/2 inch added for my sewing allowance. Okay, so I just blend in like that, and then the next thing is to create our key point. Okay, that is the extension for our collar. So I'm coming out by just 1 inch. Okay, yeah, and I'm going to connecting from that point to my sewing allowance like so. Okay, and then I'm doing same to the other side as well. Guys, pardon my voice. Okay, I don't know what's wrong with my voice tonight, but let's manage it like that. So I have this color drafted with my allowance, okay, already. So I'm just cutting this out. So remember this draft is folded into four, like it will come out in four pieces. Okay, two for the right side and two for the left side. Okay, so not your shoulder. Yeah, so this is the best way to draft your collar. Okay, do not cut it straight, draft it as you've seen. Okay, it makes it sit around the neck area very neatly and nicely. Okay, so once I'm done, I'm just going to go ahead and attach some paper stay on the main part. Okay, I'm attaching some paper stay. I've already done that. So paper stay is on one and there is no paper stay on the other. Okay, so for the lining there is no paper stay. So I'm going to sew from there all round like that, leaving the opening by half an inch. And then I ironed in. Okay, so I'm going to notch the front, that is the center front. Okay, and then for my collar I ironed in the staved part. Okay, and I left the part I've not staved open like that. Okay, so I'm just attaching this. I'm attaching it from the center like so all the way to the back. Okay, so I'm going to be doing the same thing to the other side. Once that is done, I'm going to be stitching. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing for the other side and close it up and top stitch on it. Okay, so guys, I'm done with the neck. I'm done, so I'm just going to fold in the allowance and then use the folded part to cover up my rough edge. Okay, and I'm going to top stitch on that. Okay, I'm going to do that for this side as well. Okay, to the center, and then we are done with our dress. Okay, so if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to share this video as well. Subscribe to the channel and also join my Facebook page, Sew with Anne. Let's get interactive over there. I have my WhatsApp number in the description box below. So don't forget to leave your opinions down below and your questions as well. Thank you so much for joining me. If you're a new subscriber, you're welcome to the Anne's board. We are a family. Here I upload sewing tutorials, very in-depth ones. Okay, one that you can learn from. So thank you.